All right, all right. We're probably going to have a few more people trickle in, but I think since we have so much amazing things to share with all of you, let's get started. So, Coop, I see that you're up here with me. GM, how's it going? How's the weather out there in hopefully sunny Hong Kong?
Yep, Hong Kong's chilling. It's nice and warm, and it's the first time we're doing a space. I think at 8:30 a.m. my time, so I'm freshly caffeinated and excited to chat with everyone.
Yeah, it's nice how the tables have turned. It's currently the evening for me, not 7 in the morning, but we'll see exactly how it is for everybody else because I know this is a time of day that isn't as friendly to our EU community out there. So just know if you do have any friends in EU who are sad they can't catch the space, it will be recorded. So make sure you send it to them so that they can catch it afterwards because there's a lot of incredible things we're going to be going over today. Today's space is all about the brand new update that if you have been using Earn Alliance, you all have seen already, and that is the introduction of gold and our new referral system. Coop, this has to be one of the biggest changes that we've seen to Earn Alliance in probably a long time. Even version 2 was massive, but this has just completely reshaped the whole structure of it. How are you feeling about it? You must be excited. You've been waiting to announce this for quite a while.
Yeah, it's been a huge like month of debate between the team internally over here. So, and what I meant by debate, it's do we change it? Do we leave power? We loved our original ethos of how we started and how the badges were, and but it did come with some game design trouble, and that's why we refactored everything and are super excited to share more of how the gold system works and why we're doing it.
And that's exactly what we're going to get into. But before we do that, I need to let everybody in the audience know, yes, you've heard me say this before, but I'm going to say it every single time we start this space. You know, this would not happen without all of you, and we love the support. Thank you very much. But if you can do us one more solid here, there is a comment thread down in the bottom right corner of your phone. You'll see it. It's a nice little comment button there. It looks like a chat bubble. Click on it. Give us a like on the space, retweet it if you can, and while you're there, throw a question in that thread. Comment it down below because at the end of this space, we are going to be taking some community questions, and the best 3 questions in the thread will obviously be answered and have some incentives to them. So make sure that you do that and make sure that you obviously let us know. Let us know. Give us some good questions. We got a lot that we're going over here, and we want to make sure that we drop all the good info with you. But okay, Coop, let's get it started. So course, you all probably know my voice by now, but I'm Guru, Max, 0x Guru in the Web3 space. I've been working with the Earn Alliance team now for quite a while. Me and Coop have been pretty much chopping it up on all of these spaces together, and we're doing it again for another one. Coop, if you don't know him, you've been hiding under a rock. He is the man, the myth, the legend, the founder and CEO of Earn Alliance, and I cannot wait to grind him on this space and learn everything we possibly can about the new gold introduction. That being said, gold is the name of the game, as well as referrals. There has been some major changes to Earn Alliance. We're going to be going over it. First off, though, we're going to start with a little bit of why this happened, right? Because why did we change this? Coop touched on it a little bit. There was just some kinks that we were trying to work out, a little bit of scalability, future forward thinking, and there is a lot of intention behind this. So we're going to unpack it for you guys, and then we're going to go into the system itself, communicate how it works, and exactly how to make the most of it, especially as an Earn Alliance supporter who has been supporting us for a long time. Don't worry, all the things you guys have been acquiring, collecting, and doing along the way is going to be able to help you moving forward. None of that is going away. All that benefit is still going to be here, just wrapped up in a slightly shinier, golden, let's say golden color now. But okay, Coop, let's get it started. I want to ask you, first things first, the way things were, why initially did we do things the way that we did with power, with airdrops, with the chests? I know I've communicated it to some of our game partners, but just to really set the tone here, what was the initial idea behind the way that things were? And then we'll jump into the way things are now. Just a small little bit. I just want to hear about it from you.
Yeah, sure. So the reason why we developed all this is to incentivize to be very transparent in terms of a game design. We're gamifying our website, and it's not because we're a game website, but it's because that's what the best websites do. So if you're into LinkedIn, which, I'm just going to get nerdy on more of the business professional side, when you first start creating your profile, it's trying to get you to get to 100% of filling it, and it's showing you, the different things you can do to get there, and what kind of grading your profile is. It's saying it's excellent versus okay. So it just gives you some feedback on like how you can like level up, quote unquote, and they make it a little bit fun. I wouldn't say it's as fun as Earn Alliance, but it's called gamification. And so for us, we wanted to have a way to incentivize people to come check out our website for the last, forever, pretty much as we could incentivize people. And the reason why you want to do that is as you're building a new product, you're experimenting with ideas, you're experimenting with features, and the best way to do it is raw. You want to release things new quickly, almost like half complete, so that you can give it out to the users and then you see what happens. Do they start using it every day? Do they start talking about it? Do they start doing this? But while you're doing that, you want them to come back and check out your website, even if they're not super deep into the features that you built so far. So that's why we created the power system. And the power system is two things. One is it was giving you a weekly bonus, a weekly head start against the rest of the community, who are new users, to get weekly rewards through our airdrops, which we've collected so many NFTs throughout the months, and also purchased NFTs from our favorite communities and put them into a box so that we could share them with everybody. And then the other thing is that we wanted to create a kind of like an exclusive moment, like the people who are hardcore supporters who were in our Christmas badge campaign in 2022, and then the New Year's campaign. That support that that group of people did has actually mattered to us. We wanted to make sure that they have this kind of VIP feeling within our ecosystem. So that's where the whole idea came from, and yeah, now it's evolving.
Thank you, Coop. And I really, really got to just mention that I appreciate the candidness on that. Some people don't like being transparent about the fact that you do want to incentivize people to stay. People's time is valuable at the end of the day, right? And if they don't feel, if myself even, if I don't feel like my time is being valued, why am I going to be spending it with you when I could be spending it somewhere else? So it was a really, really interesting system that even worked on me. Just a funny story before we move on. I got myself and obviously my fiance into Earn Alliance and using the platform. And initially, she just told me the one time, "Hey, I was doing this just to farm these chests, but every now and then I find something that catches my eye and I like it. And now I realize that I actually enjoy jumping on and getting updates and getting the chests in the process." And I'm like, damn, that's it, isn't it? It works. So it definitely did work, but obviously we had an opportunity to improve it. So I don't want to spend too much time talking about the way things were, because that is exactly what it is. They were that way. Now we have a new system, and honestly, I love it. So let's jump right into gold. Coop, I want to just give you the opportunity to really sell us on gold. What is gold, and why is it important? Why is it valuable? Why is it gold, really? Why do people even care about it? Just give it to me in a nice short one, and then we're going to jump a little bit more into obviously how it works.
Sure. So gold is the replacement of power. One of the things that was confusing in our previous system is that power resets every week. And in most games or in anywhere, when you're collecting something, it doesn't feel great when you've collected it, it grows, and then it resets. It just disappears. And for new users, that's very confusing. You got something, and then you come back like a week later, and you're like, what happened here? Like, is it a bug? Is it broken? What happened, and it just was causing way too much confusion. The other thing too is that there was a race for rewards on Thursdays. There's only so many NFTs that we can give out, so many tokens that we can give out. That balancing that effectively with tens of thousands of users was not easy. So gold comes in two forms. One is that when you get gold, you keep it forever until you spend it. So you can earn this by minting badges. You soon will be able to earn this by minting rocket launches, and then there'll be all kinds of cool campaigns that our marketing team can now do, where they can actually just give you gold for helping support us in particular ways, on demand. Right? They can just go ahead and do that with the community and create some fun events. And then the cool thing is what happened to all the badge holders and the people who've supported us over the years, and well, years, months, we're not even a year old yet. And that is where we have a allowance. And that's where it's going to get interesting. I know we're going to dive more into it, but that's a bit about gold and the changes that are happening.
Thank you, Coop. And honestly, it makes a lot of sense. Can I just say some of the feedback I've gotten is that the previous system was a little bit complicated and felt like I've heard it. I've heard the feedback. Once you gamified it, once you learned how to try and take advantage of it, it really did feel like it wasn't as fair, right? So I think this new system really gives people it gives people that feeling that what they do has a reciprocation of value that makes sense. So I like it a lot. Plus, I'm a big fan of gold. I played so many MMOs. I think that gold is something that stands very, very close to everybody's heart. It's important. It's a premium currency. It buys you good stuff. And in this case, it'll buy you those legendary chests, which also look really, really good. Shout out to the team for being able to design those in such an awesome way. But okay, so we kind of know what it is. I am really interested to learn about this allowance system. But Coop, I think the best way to talk about how this works is let's just really walk somebody through that whole process system. I'm even going to take it one step further, and we're going to touch more on referrals later on. But let's assume a friend of yours refers you to the Earn Alliance platform. Coop, can you walk us a little bit through that journey of what it looks like from getting referred from a friend to claiming your first legendary chest? What does that process look like?
Yeah, sure. So you'll have a friend reach out to you with a unique URL or a code, and you'll be able to click on that and sign up for Earn Alliance. And if you accept your friend's referral, not only are they getting some gold and in the future even some more goodies, but you're getting some too, which is pretty cool. You could do this by again signing up via a unique URL that they provide you. But for all you existing users who do want to, kind of jump into this, even though you've been around prior to this system, if you get a code from your favorite friend, you can go to your profile and you can still enter it in that they referred you, and you can get the little gold bonus that comes with it. So that's the first step of getting into the ecosystem. And then the first thing you're going to want to do is start tapping into that allowance. And to do that, you can go to Earn Alliance right now, and you can go to the badges section and mint the Twitter badge. By supporting us and following us on Twitter, we'll give you a nice, awesome badge that has also been well designed, in my personal opinion. I think those badges are awesome. And then you'll start getting gold every week. And you're going to collect that gold. It's going to pile up. And then eventually, when you save up enough gold, you'll be able to buy a legendary chest. And as you know, there's the minting of the badge, as I mentioned, there's the referral. So how do you keep piling that up? And that's where you come to the wall every day, you scroll down, you start looking at awesome news, which hopefully you'll discover your next favorite games. There's so much good stuff coming out, so much awesome content that's curated there. And then you'll run into a daily chest, which you'll open that baby up, and you might get some tokens or gold or both. So that's a bit on the journey from a new user's perspective.
Very well said, Coop. And yes, I think it's a very interesting opportunity for people, whether you're new or currently supporting, to be able to go through and just make sure that you have the opportunity to make the most of the new system. We haven't changed things to try and limit people's ability to acquire and get value from the platform. We've changed things to make it better for you and scalable for the future. Coop, I want to just touch on a really, really small thing here that's not perfectly applicable, but definitely helps communicate and paint the picture for everybody. That future that we're aiming for is going to be massive. We've had talks about it. We've even seen just in the last couple of weeks the huge growth that's come to Earn Alliance. If you guys have been following any of our metrics, you can see that the profiles have been shooting up. We almost have 100,000 users at this point in time. Actually, let me check and make sure I didn't get that wrong. Yeah, okay, we're still 96.3.
200,000.
200,000 users on the platform, yes, and then 100,000 followers on Twitter. This is nuts. We're already seeing the growth kick in, and we haven't even shared some of the most exciting stuff that's happening next month, which is going to make things even more. It's beyond rocket fuel at this point in time. So this is really, really important. And Coop, I know that the team has been talking a lot about how to keep this scaling healthy, because sometimes when you scale, we've seen it with Web3 games, you have those growing pains, and those growing pains can cause a lot of grief, not just for the platform, but for the users who are supporting it as well. So just to really, really let you guys know, once again, to paint that picture, this is a much more scalable process because it's going to allow people an easier to understand and easier to be involved with way to get value out of the Earn Alliance platform. And I know that we haven't said anything yet, but I can guarantee, I know the way that your mind works, Coop. I can guarantee that what you see right now as a use for gold is only the surface. I know that we have so many interesting things for both Ally and gold in the future, and I cannot wait to hear more about it and share it with you guys. Speaking of which, just to make sure that everybody understands, and Coop, I'm going to throw it back over to you. I want to really talk about and highlight the two currencies of Earn Alliance now, because I think power was kind of, I don't know, it had its this place where it was a little hard to understand for some people, but gold and ally is a pretty simple system to understand. So I'm going to let you just really open it up. Can you just highlight ally, gold, tell us a little bit about the difference, maybe more so on the ally side, and also just tell us a little bit more about the currencies themselves, like why this system? Is there some intention to this? Is there some like future plans that you guys have where we're going to have like a lot of interesting opportunities to use both of them? I just want the alpha. That's really what it is. So let's talk a little bit about gold and ally and kind of what the differences, similarities, and future might look like for them.
Yeah, sure. So gold it's going to be the stepping stone to ally. So you can imagine that you're getting this gold through this daily chest. You might get ally token through the daily rewards, but it's a much lower chance, right? You want to get that legendary chest to get that more legendary stuff. So for the people who don't know about our ecosystem and are just tuning in, the legendary chest gives you a chance for NFTs. So if you go on the right side of the website, if you earnlines.com now, you open up the login and you open up the reward section, you'll see that there's different grades of NFTs that you can win. And that's all by getting the legendary chests and purchasing them. So think of it as gold is the stepping stone to the ally token, which is where you get the best of the best benefits. So gold will tap into, getting these chests, and there will be more chests, throughout the history and throughout our future actually, and all these other things. But it's really about getting to the ally token. So maybe we can, refresh on what is the ally token, what are some of the things that we're thinking about. And we're definitely looking forward to hearing from everybody on more ideas, because this is still a huge thing that's evolving. So one of the things that we're thinking of is, which again, September is going to be big. So when we announce all the different mints that are coming, you're going to now understand the benefits of the ally token when I say this. But if you want to guarantee your spot in a mint or an opportunity to support a community or a gift from a community that they're going to be using Earn Alliance to really engage the Web3 game ecosystem, is ally token could be that thing. You can hold a certain amount of ally token, which might get you into whitelists. You might even be able to bid to just say, I want to, I love that NFT from, let's just say Shrapnel or something like that. I just want it. Could I just get it now, 24 hours earlier? And you would use ally token to do that. Of course, we're going to have private events just like the one we have at Token 2049. In the future, maybe ally token holders will be invited to some more exclusive events around the world. Of course, we're going to have some cool swag as things are going down the road. And then we also are imagining the ability to feature games with ally token holders. So instead of us being a centralized entity, just like Steam deciding who gets featured, maybe the communities or yourself not even being part of the community, you discover something you're very interested in, you can stake ally token behind the game to help feature it as the number one game within our games page. So this is just, I can go on an entire Twitter space about it. So if you haven't learned about some of the benefits of ally tokens, that's the end game. That's where you use gold to essentially get your ally token. And there's going to be a lot of perks. And just go check out our blog.earnalliance.com to learn more.
So essentially, what we're saying here is that gold is the premium currency in every other game you've played. But when it comes to Earn Alliance, there's something even more valuable, and that's ally.
I would I would say traditionally in an MMO, gold was is a so there's actually, let's talk about game design a bit. So traditionally in MMOs and RPGs, gold is the premium currency. There's usually one currency. But then when you evolve to the free to play ecosystem, so anything that you might see that like Supercell has made, Clash Royale for example, you have gold and then you'll have diamonds. So diamonds has been kind of that premium, what is known as a hard currency that you can purchase, and then you use diamonds to buy gold, or you use diamonds to get very exclusive benefits throughout that ecosystem. So this really does fall into the standard of free to play games, which gold is known as a soft currency, which is still great, but the premium one is diamond.
Appreciate it, Coop. And yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to get at here. You put it together so well. Is there is something more valuable than gold, especially in this ecosystem. And despite all the alpha that Coop gave us about potential ally application in the future, I think the most important thing to consider here, regardless of what it might be, because it is still to be decided, is that ally is going to be the future of Earn Alliance. So if you want to have a stake in that platform and you see a future in Earn Alliance, it is the best way to position yourself correctly to capitalize on that. And gold is the way you get there. And gold itself is a system that I think we have a lot more opportunity to play with. There could be new applications and ways to get gold. Just the sky is the limit on that. So I think it's a really interesting system, and I love it in comparison to the single power system, because it is something that is not, it doesn't disappear. I think the weekly disappear on the power with the airdrops, it definitely was a system that felt a little bit hard to scale. So I'm happy that we have this in place now. It's less, I want to say it's less RNG, but it's still RNG. I think it is less RNG. There's less of a random number game to this now. It's a little bit more of a, you can actually grow consistently based off of your effort and involvement. So it's a really, really important thing. But Coop, I think we have a good idea of what gold is now. We even were able to kind of rehash and talk a little bit more about ally, but there's one thing that we slowly touched on when we talked about that journey that an individual is going to take to get to their first legendary chest that I want to double down on, and that is the referral system. Because not only did we have gold be introduced, but referrals have been introduced as well. And I just want to open up the stage again here, Coop, and let me just get the whole picture here. Why, what, and how when it comes to referrals? We kind of talked a little bit about how, but maybe if there's anything else you want to add, maybe as an individual referring people. But why, first off, why referrals, and why create the system that we have now and incentivize it through gold? What's the idea behind that?
Got it. So I think the if we go all the way back, to launching our website in December, people saw this locked website and they got the mint this badge and they got access to a very simple feature, which was our game directory, and it was very raw. And you, as a new founder into Web3 in crypto, I really looked at decentralized communities and all this whole movement and decentralization as building together. And this is my fifth startup, so I feel like usually you hide in a box for a while, you're quote unquote stealth, and then you come out with something awesome. But I was like, no, this is really cool. We can go raw. But that really did backfire on us, to be very, very honest. Behind the curtain, it wasn't a awesome club. It was something, new and early, and we also didn't stand out as strong as we did. So I'm saying that because I want to kind of build that story of like here we are today. If you go to earnalliance.com now, I personally get excited that it's our company. It's beautiful, it's unified. There's so much features and love and functionality by an amazing team that has worked hard to put it all together. And despite the fight against Twitter and not sharing data, if anybody's read about it or heard about it or haven't, just check out how Elon Musk like locked down their Twitter data. It's pretty gnarly, and now we have something I think is really really awesome. So in the life cycle of a business, once you start feeling something awesome, it's time to scale. It's time to get more people. It's time to show some more eyeballs and start getting to see like, okay, let's see how this does. And that's where the referral system came in. That's why it actually exists. Again, full transparency. It's to have the community help build this community into something greater. And so that's where it came. And how it works is that you can simply refer somebody by going to your profile, and there's a URL that you have uniquely generated for yourself or code, and you can tell your friend about it, and you can refer to get people to essentially show up, and you will get some gold for that, and then you will also have your friend who accepts your referral get some gold for that. And we'll have different types of campaigns. Like right now, you will be able to earn up to 100 ally token for inviting. I believe it's 10 friends. I hope I'm getting that
I
correctly.
believe that's right.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So yeah, and that's temporary, right? Like again, the reason why going back to zero entry.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
Was saying it's still RNG, and the reason why it's RNG is because we're creating a sustainable economy. You can't actually just pump out everything to everybody. So a lot of these things are temporary. A lot of these things are now. In the future, we might not be able to give ally token for you to help refer people to the platform. So it's important to know that this is an evolution, and this isn't permanent, and this is this moment, and we're looking forward to your support.
Well said, Coop. Well said. I can respect that a lot. I think it's very interesting for everybody who's here right now. We've seen it already take place. The reason why this system change is even existing is because we have taken the feedback from the community and we've started to consider some of the concerns or some of the issues that people were having and trying to find solutions to it. And gold is one of the ways that I think we get there. Referrals is the way that we scale to the future after getting there. So referrals are very important. I also think that it's just in general, if you look at anything that's gamified, referrals are extremely important not only for the ecosystem, but also for the people who participate in it. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you see value in the platform and what you're doing on the platform right now, then make sure that you have a place in it. Make sure you have a stake in it. Your referral allows you to actually get incentivized to continue to be a supporter of Earn Alliance. I know myself, I'm already using it. I think how many times I've played video games and I've convinced my friends to come and play with me, and every single time I do it, I'm always trying to capitalize on the referral. So I'll put the same thing out to everyone else here. And I think another thing that I'd like to mention just before we move on is that the feedback is very important. If you guys see that there's something, potentially that can be improved with the referral system, with the gold system, make yourself heard. Mention it. Do it respectfully, of course. I think there's a lot of people who like to do things a little sensationally in the space, but your voice is heard and it makes a difference. So your voice matters. Make sure that you share your opinion with us. But Coop, okay, I just want to really bring us back to this point because we've gone over a lot of information with everybody. Make sure that everybody in the audience is listening as well, and also remind everyone in the audience, if you haven't yet, go into that comment section. Make sure that you guys like the space. Give us a retweet. It does us a lot of good. And then also throw a question in the comment section that we're going to be answering in about 10-15 minutes here. We want to be able to answer your guys' questions. I already see quite a few awesome ones in there. If yours gets chosen, of course, you know how this works. We're going to be giving you guys some ally tokens, so make sure that you get those questions in there. Not only do you get me and Coop to answer them, but you also get the opportunity to get some ally token. So, Coop, I just want to bring us back to this point, make sure that everybody's on the same page. We have introduced a brand new system in place of power now and your traditional airdrops that we had every single week, and it is now the gold system. So the gold system is the new system now. It is not something that disappears after week to week. It is not something that you have to rush to claim after the 1 week period before everyone else does. This is a system that really allows you to move at a pace that is comfortable for you, not feel like you're being left behind, and scales correctly with our user base. The reason why this is really important is because we do have some big plans to scale quite large in the future, and we need to make sure that we have the infrastructure in place to facilitate that. I want to talk a little bit about the future, and I'm going to really probably start grinding you about it, Coop, because I want to know what you envision for the future. But before we get there, just one final thing that has to be mentioned on the gold system for everybody here who's listening. Make sure you guys go and read up on how the gold system interacts with the referral system, because the referrals are very important. Make the most of it, even if you are already a user on Earn Alliance. go through. If you had a friend that initially, introduced you to it, get their referral code, put it on your account, make sure that you capitalize on that as best you can, because it is going to make a big, big difference in the future. And the future is going to be grand. So Coop, I'm going to throw it back to you for a little bit here. I want you to tell us, just make it as visionary as you want, but really just tell us what the future of Earn Alliance is going to look like, what you want it to look like. And I think that that'll also help people understand a little bit more why this gold system is so important, and why as well they should not be sleeping on referrals right now. So tell us all about the amazing future that you have planned for Earn Alliance, because I know I've heard it a few times and I love it every single time you tell me.
Yeah, sure. And when we say future, are we going into care drop land? Are we going into the next set of features? Like, there's just I just don't want to take over this Twitter space. So.
Hey, no, I understand completely. When I say future, I mean, let's talk about next year, like where we want to be as far as users. Let's talk about how many people we expect to be using Earn Alliance. The care drop, we could talk about that a little bit. I don't know how much we've actually released on that. If you want to drop some alpha, I'm going to definitely leave it up to you. But I'm more talking about the platform itself. Like, what do we think? How many users do we want to have? What is that going to look like with that many users? How is Earn Alliance potentially going to evolve as far as a resource for Web3 gaming enthusiasts, gamers, and games alike to utilize? And why, again, that future being as grand as it is it so important for us to have introduced a gold system to be able to facilitate it? So that's more what I'm talking about. Not the
Yep.
initiatives themselves, just the bigger future for Earn Alliance.
Gotcha. So I think we all kind of got a bit of game design here with the whole soft currency being gold and hard currency being diamonds is the design, kind of saying of it. But the big thing here is that gold is not going to be a cryptocurrency. It's a digital currency, and it allows us to do a few things because of that. When you don't associate it to direct money that you can put in and then take out. There's so many interesting features that you can create that doesn't go into security land or into gambling land and all these other things. So having a soft currency that we can give out as rewards to then use to choose, kind of where do you want to spend that? Do you want to support games? Do you want to open up more reward chests? Soon, something that we're talking about with games is challenges. Do you want to have access to specific challenges where you can, kind of, join them by, spending gold, play the game, and then win, something even bigger. So there's a lot of really cool features that are going to come with gold to essentially utilize to try to claim the prize that you're interested in. So that's how we look at gold, and that's the future is that this is just going to be a way for you to direct your interests throughout Web3 games. And in the future, like how we look at ourselves next year, is that Earn Alliance should be a place where everybody from Web3 enthusiasts to the actual gamers will come together and discover games. Because as of this month, if everybody's been in tune, there's so many new games that are coming out with their alphas, with their betas, which one just got on Steam. I think it was Champions Ascension, if I'm not butchering that.
Champions and Bornless, by the way. Both of them.
Yeah, Bornless got it, man, dude. Like we're got to tap on that with that last remain soon, hopefully. And then there's just stuff that you can play, right? Like I've been really enjoying Apron. I've been enjoying Magic Craft. Like it's just finally like when people have been saying, "Where are the Web3 games? What can I play?" Like you can go to Earn Alliance now, filter that live button, and we're gonna try our best to keep it up to date as possible to eventually go try new stuff. And how are we going to grow to 1 million users? It's all going to be through this referral program. It's all going to be through this amazing airdrop that we're going to be announcing very, very soon, which I think is going to be the most gamified airdrop the world has yet to see. And the whole goal is going to be to refer gamers. If you refer Web3 enthusiasts, people that have supported, the Web3 games over the years, that's awesome too. They're gonna get and reap your rewards for that. But there's gonna be this huge incentive to bring gamers, people who have played games, and I'm not gonna tell you exactly how we verify that. That's all going to be announced very soon. But the whole goal is that Earn Alliance is at the center of the gamers and the games themselves. And then we'll learn how to earn together. We'll learn how to look at a digital asset and see, like, is this actually popular and used by the top 100 esports players, or is this something that has a new trend that's having a 72% win rate? So it's going to be, I believe, the end game for how we should look at game NFTs, and also just share learnings and earnings around that.
I like that. That's very well said at the end. Share learnings and earnings. That's we're gonna put that on a meme 2023 coup. So I love that. That's a very good answer. You know, it really comes down to that journey to 1 million users starts with everybody here. Everybody who's here right now is the initial foundation that we build that huge user base on top of, and with, not just on top of, but collectively with. So it's really, really exciting to be part of this early user base and being able to capitalize on it, and also being able to see some of the awesome stuff that we have coming up. September is going to be wild. That's all I can say, you guys. It's going to be incredible. Keep your eyes open. Make sure that you stay up to date with everything. Make sure that you are keeping up to date, not just here on Twitter, or I guess we call it X now, right? I think it's going to take at least a year for people to get used to this. I'm going to call it Twitter for so long. But anyway, stay up to date here. Also on Earn Alliance itself. I mean, if you guys have not already, make sure that you have an account on Earn Alliance. Now is the best time to do it because you have the incentives. You can pick up that Twitter badge as well. How ironic that we're minting a Twitter badge right as Twitter is disappearing. I feel like, you know, a little bit of speculation here, but that badge is going to be quite the honor in the future. It's going to be one of those if you know, you know moments, because there will be people coming into the space that probably didn't even know that Twitter was Twitter before. That is going to happen. Probably when I'm a little bit more of a boomer than I am now. But now that we have that, we've talked about it a little bit. I hope you guys have a general idea of why the system has been implemented. I know we even have a question here that talks a little bit more about it and asks a question on it. I may end up getting it. Who knows? Maybe it'll get chosen. But the biggest thing to keep in mind here is that this new system is a new system. I know that there will be obviously some growing pains for some of the people, especially the people who really got themselves to maybe a min-maxed understanding of the previous system. I have played so many games and had an update come out that changes the way you look at it. But don't worry, this is just a whole new strategy for you to be able to develop, and it will be exciting. I cannot wait to see what everybody can do with this new system and how it actually works for the way that we want it to work, which is to scale correctly. But Coop, we're going to jump into some questions here. I know that we're about 5 minutes earlier than we usually do, but there's definitely at least 2 questions here that are going to probably stimulate a little bit of a tangent, so I think it's good to jump in this a slight bit early. Before we do, though, I just want to make sure, is there anything else about the new gold or referral system that you want to mention before we jump into questions, Coop, or are we good to jump in?
Nothing other than just, again, thanks for the support, everybody that's listening now and in the future of this recording. And this is still very early, very, very early days. It takes a while to build an industry. And this Web3 game industry currently exists with these hardcore enthusiasts and supporters that believe in it. And it's just so tiny compared to the potential it's going to become. And you can see with Google Play unlocking very beautiful support for NFTs not so long ago. We're going to be writing about that soon, just so we can help educate everybody around that. I'm sure Apple's going to fold and be more flexible as well. They have a light version of it, but it's going to be coming soon. Epic Games, of course, has been great ever since their support for the last almost a little over a year now. And now we're getting interesting insights on Steam. This is huge. Like, we're all these little signals that we're talking about in this call today are big green lights of the rest of the year, and I'm just excited to see where it goes.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. I think it's going to be very, very exciting because it won't be Web3 gaming one day. It'll just be gaming. And I cannot wait to see that day happen. I already feel that way, but we got to wait for the world to wake up to it too. So without further ado, let's jump into some questions here. We have a couple of really, really good questions. So the first one here, it's actually a question that I think is a little bit more technical. And Coop, this is why I said maybe this will stimulate a tangent, because it is a very, very good question. And this is from Bullish Pizza, actually. And he specifically asks, and this is so important when it comes to just digital currencies and economies in general, He says, what are the risk management policies that we're using to safeguard the investments and credits granted by the platform? And how can we ensure that there is a backup or some sort of reliable, platform or structure in the face of any situation or sudden change in the market or on the website, whether it be hacks, etc. So ultimately, Coop, what kind of risk management policies or what kind of security do we have in place to make sure that the credits, the gold, the ally token, everything that we're issuing right now on the website is secure and is not something that could be taken down or could be jeopardized in the event of an attack or an event of something not working correctly?
Yeah, good question. So the first thing, and I think this is also just a good thing to mention, is that everybody has been now seeing a new feature that we've been enabling, which is our anti-bots and anti-multi-account system. And I know that when we enabled it, there was a huge, backlash of like, hey, what's going on, this and that and that and this. But underneath the hood, the technology there is very, very well done in a way that I myself have been kind of a quote unquote white hat hacker. I love, trying to break systems and doing all these other things. And it's designed with that in mind. Like, how could we really make this fair for everybody? So, first and foremost, we have protection in place to make sure that we're distributing this across unique people, not just a bunch of people who are farming it. And that's, a key thing to mention. And we'll continue to let everybody know how what the rules are safely. The second thing is that everything is tracked. Our head of tech comes from BitMEX or 100X, one of the biggest derivatives exchange that isn't big anymore, got overtaken by, of course, everybody else. But prior to, Binance and all these other places making derivatives, they did over $1 trillion US a year in essential volume, and he was one of the main people behind that from an infrastructure point of view, and got his hands, of course, working close with security people around that. And you probably haven't heard of them because they made a bunch of money. They're no longer there, but it's not because of a hack. It's because of their founders and what they were doing with the money, etc. And it wasn't an FTX story, which is a good thing too. So with that said, we have an awesome team behind the hood that's recording everything to make sure that this is all done. And again, we like taking things in small steps. And these steps is what you're seeing today, which is it's digital. It's not on chain. It's something that we can still govern really closely and be careful with. So we're looking closely at everything that's going out, and we're going to make sure to announce any corrections or anything that goes wrong within our systems. And yeah, I think we're in a good position to make sure that it's going to be safely mintable in the future.
Thanks, Coop. So I guess a good way to look at this as well is that, although this is a bit of a taboo term in cryptocurrency, I guess, is that things are still relatively centralized to be in control of the team, obviously, until there maybe is an application or some opportunity to change that. But it is safer this way, most certainly. And we have a lot of people who are very familiar and very experienced working on this type of complex system, being able to oversee it. So I'm happy with it. I know I've had a chance to work with the team. I know they're very capable, very intelligent, and I have no doubt that they're the right people to be able to handle this. But it is important to know that we do have, obviously, the security in place. I think one of the biggest ones here that you touched on, Coop, was the anti-botting feature. This is massive. Being able to determine within reason, of course, there'll never be 100% accuracy, but extremely accurate, that the people who are being distributed these rewards that have such a vital component in our ecosystem are real people. Because bots, they unfortunately are something that has plagued the Web3 space in general, whether it be ICOs, IDOs, whether it be NFTs, etc. We've seen bots have been utilized to really take advantage of it. So we're doing our best, and I'm happy to say that we have a team that is capable of doing a very good job making sure that that is not the case. As far as everything else goes, though, at the end of the day, I know there was a mention on here about market, like in commercial markets. I think that there's only so much you can do to control the commercial market itself. But as far as the actual security of the platform and the digital currency goes, it's in good hands. So rest assured. But let's jump to another question here, and we'll have a final one. We got a really good one that I'll let you tangent on at the end, Coop, and maybe I'll even chime on a little bit because it just asks us what the future holds. And if you were the guy in here that asked that question, you already know you're going to win, but you'll be the final question. So I have one other question here, which is, I think we already talked about it a little bit, but seeing as it's a question, maybe, Coop, we should just really reiterate it one more time. Ayano asked specifically, like, why did we decide to change the previous system to the new gold system? He says specifically it's like playing an RNG game. We talked a little bit about how the previous system was actually a little bit stronger RNG, but it was just RNG that was being gamified, kind of being min-maxed by a smaller group. And then he says specifically, I mean, it's good that since we have the power to decide what and when to purchase, but I want to ask, what are the benefits of these so-called massive incentives for users to the whole project now that gold has been introduced? So Coop, maybe let's just touch one more time on really why this change happened, so we make sure that everybody understands correctly why did we change to gold and why it's a better option.
Yeah, a few very simple things. One is if you are fighting for rewards on the same day, and there are limits to how many rewards that we're giving out in our ecosystem per week, which there are, and the reason why there are is because that we're creating a sustainable economy here. So it needs to be given out fairly and distributed in an equal way. So there's no more congestions on a single day, which used to be Thursdays, where you'd have to show up on Thursdays before your power was reset. Your airdrop boxes were distributed then, and then you only had 48 hours to open them up. And you no longer have to do that. And the second thing that comes with that is one of our art director, Till, was just saying, it sucks when you miss it, right? Like it's not cool when you don't get to show up. You're busy, an emergency happened, but you were working towards that day, and it's just something that's always bothered him. And he's like, it would be nice if we can have a way that doesn't do that, and that's where a major shift has pushed us in this direction. So there is no more reset. You can get it whenever you want. You can grind it whenever you want. You can take a break and come back, when the next set comes. And yeah, that's those are the two major things and reasons why it makes it a lot better.
Thanks, Coop. Yeah, that's really it in a nutshell, guys. I know that it might initially seem like this huge, complex new layer to the ecosystem, but I guarantee you it's not. It's actually significantly more simple to understand. I've been talking to people about this new system in comparison to the old system, people who are not familiar with Earn Alliance at all, and they're very, very much more on board with this because it's just easier to digest. The whole power system, missing out, like it felt very previously Web3 style, where it was all about just stimulating that time constraint, the FOMO, getting your hype going up. They just didn't like it as much. This new system, you're going to love it. Just trust it. Be open-minded to it. I'm very much on board with it. And now, Coop, we got one final question here, and it's a great one. I really just want to be able to talk kind of about something you asked before if we were going to talk about it. So, Dongwoo, as always, you asked some amazing questions, sir. Don't ever stop asking these questions. He wants to know specifically what big events the Earn team is planning for the rest of 2023. He specifically throws some suggestions out here, like, or some guesses, like, is it partnerships, game launches, tournaments? What's the plan look like? And Coop, there is so much on the agenda. So I'm going to throw it to you first. Maybe you choose one or two things, at least one exciting thing we got planned for 2023, and let's tell the audience about it. Let's drop a bit of alpha for them, and then I'll share something as well, and we'll wrap it up there.
Sure, and I think you should definitely tap into the Last Remain side for a moment too, because we are a game studio and we are a game community, and so for Earn, there's just so much coming. That talking about the whole year would be pretty intense. But the main things that are happening is we're going to have a huge presence at Token 2049, and we're running the Web3 Games Summit. So if you check out my Twitter, scroll down a bit, you'll find a little bit of alpha around that. But what that means is that we're bringing together a lot of people within industry, mostly games together, and then some VCs and then some KOLs to talk about the industry together. So hopefully we'll be posting some content as a kind of update of where are things at from a investor perspective, from a content creator perspective, and from, of course, a game developer perspective, so that you guys can all hear that. So I think that's going to be great. The second thing is that we're going to have our bounty packs, going out, our bounty drop, which is our take on a care package similar to Blur's care packages, but in a much more gamified way. So all that's going to be announced in the coming weeks. It's going to be huge. It's a multi-month campaign. It's going to be long, and it's going to be really fun. In my opinion, it's going to be fun because together we're going to be watching the industry grow, not only from a game perspective, but from a gamer and community perspective. So that's going to be great. So yeah, I would say that those three things are the top. I guess one last one or two things. I would say the third thing, just to make it three, is we're gonna announce the biggest game mint anybody has ever seen, and it's not just dead drops. They had hundreds of thousands of mints on a single NFT. No, I'm really proud to announce that we have unified Binance, Polygon, and Immutable to come together with their games to do a mint marathon. And there's going to be so many games that you can mint NFTs from, and it's going to be competitive. You got to play some of those games in order to get access to these awesome NFTs. Each NFT has a game utility. There's no, BS PFPs. As much as I love art and collectibles, no, these things actually will give you value, which is just an upside to us all being gamers here. So yeah, it's going to be it's going to be also announced very soon, and it's not far away. It's going to be happening at the end of September.
That is some major alpha. Oh my goodness. I just, yeah, there's so much to digest there. I cannot wait. That's going to be amazing. I can tell you guys right now that mid marathon we have planned, it's going to blow your mind. I've been helping work on it in the background here, and it is so exciting. It is by far one of the greatest things I've ever had a chance to get my hands on. And I've had my hands on some pretty good things. One of those amazing things being Last Remains. So let me jump in here, Coop, and talk a little bit about some of the stuff coming for Last Remains, because oh my goodness, it's not quite as big as what you just dropped for Earn Alliance, but man, is it big. So one of the things I actually want to say, Coop, literally after this space, we are going to go test it, is that we are now fully live, not perfectly working. That's why we're testing it. We will have it soon, though. We are fully live with our new server architecture. That means that Last Remains is now taking the next step to be a fully playable, matchable multiplayer game, which is massive. This is really what needs to happen for a game to come into its full-fledged form, especially a game like Last Remains, which is a multiplayer battle royale competitive game. So this is amazing. I cannot wait to tell you guys exactly how it goes and then also share it with you soon. So I am going to actually be putting together a game night later this month where we're going to be putting together a smaller group, of course, but a group of our biggest supporters and, of course, our players, our hardest players in Last Remains to come and test out the build, which is night and day different from the build that you guys all saw during the mint back in May. This is a completely different game practically. The combat system, the environment, the map is at least twice as big, if not more. We have the new server architecture. The entire menu and UI is set up. All the characters are available. Everything has progressed so much that it is going to blow your mind the next time you get your hands on it. So there we go. That's a little bit of alpha we have coming for Last Remains. That's right around the corner, by the way. As far as what we have for the rest of the year, I'm going to keep a little bit of it mysterious, but I can tell you guys that Last Remains is going to be moving a similar route to some of the biggest... Okay, let's just put it this way. We're not going to let Bornless or Champions Ascension or Champions IO one-up us as far as getting supported on some of the biggest platforms in the world. So don't worry, we are also going to be fighting for that Steam spot. We're going to make sure that Last Remains is available on any launcher, any platform that you choose to play it on. Just, of course, going to be in a way that fits with the rules and regulations of those platforms. So that is where we're at right now. Things are moving forward. I'm so excited to share where the game is right now with all of our community and supporters later this month. And when we do it, of course, we're going to record it. We're going to share all the spicy and exciting clips that come from it. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it, Coop. I'll let you say the final couple statements here, but it has been an absolute blast. This has been an alpha-filled space for everybody who's listening now or going to be listening to the recording in the future. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure that you let us know as well in the comments. Now that we're done with the questions, at least let us know what you guys thought about things. And if you have any other questions, still just throw it down in there. Maybe ping myself or Coop, and we'll try and get back to you and answer that question. But thanks again, everyone. Coop, you can make the final statements, and then we'll close it up.
Yeah, I think we're good. Not much to say other than, stay positive. And this is, even though NFTs are at their lowest of lows and getting lower, things are going to bounce. And it's not about a bull run, it's about the awesome products and games that are coming into the space. So we're all working hard, be patient, and keep supporting those projects that you love. And of course, hopefully, we're one of them. So, have a good rest of your day, evening, or morning over there.
See ya.